What's your best advice for the entertainment business in trying to engage with the platform?
Well, I think what people do right is they look at it as a process. You know, it used to be you geared up, you know, you produced the show went out, you fingers crossed, you do some advertising, you try to get the audience to show up and to watch the show. But you have this incredible marketing tool. In fact, I think Facebook is transforming brand marketing, and in this case, you know, your show brand marketing. The ability to reach out and to tap into what people love, to create a buzz and energy and excitement around something, you know, like the X Factor is a fantastic example because it's rich with material, and every week something's happening behind the scenes, and they're constantly feeding that to the audience and engaging them and bringing them in.
Now, I think one of the points that you made recently at a conference in Germany was that you were surprised that television channels had a relationship with their audience where they were given an ad and then nothing much happened after that ad. The engagement factor was sort of not as strong. What's the difference between engaging with the sorts of advertising that you're recommending through Facebook, and how is that going to be a threat as much as an opportunity for the television business?
Well, I think advertising has traditionally been a campaign-based activity. So it's, you know, you set aside a budget, you figure out the best creative campaign to reach your audience, and then you deliver it, and then often it trails off. And so what Facebook can be is this reinforcing message, way to deliver reinforced messages about your brand, about what you'd like people to engage on, whether it's you know, a new sort of feature show that's coming out or something that you know is going to mean something to them. Like when the new fall season came out in the US, I'm obviously American, but I've been living in the UK for 11 years. But I couldn't wait to hear what shows were happening. So I was constantly looking at what was happening on the site, like what shows people were advertising and how they were positioning them, and then looking on iTunes so I could buy them as soon as they were available.
If you were running a network, what would you do, a television network? What would you do strategically in digital, and particularly in social media, to make sure that you took best advantage of it?
Well, I think that the most important thing to do is take stock of your brands, look at the equity that your shows have with the audience, in the various markets, and then figure out how to engage people and to bring that up a level. I mean, assuming that if you look at those figures we've got 26 million users in the UK, I think it's 18 million in France, 16 million in Italy. So all of the big markets have, you know, a critical mass of your audience are going to be on Facebook, or going to be engaged, or going to be on the site, you know, every other day. As I said, you know, 60% are on every day. So, you know, take stock of those brands and figure out a marketing program around them and how you continue to bring them into the creative process, so that it's not just you deliver a show on a Friday night, but you deliver the material and the updates and the things that the audience are looking for.
And as that audience changes online and gets used to, and you say that it's nearly 50% of the younger demographic is sort of multi-screening.
Yeah.
How do you think that affects the nature of content? And can content exist purely as a linear experience in the future, or does it have to have that interactive component, do you think?
Well, I think, you know, what I was talking about is that the kids do that. I think children are going to be interesting to watch because they're so used to multitasking anyway. And I think we're going to have to figure out how to entertain in a world where people have this short attention span, without a doubt. But I still think there is no substitute for great drama. There's nothing like going to the movies. There's nothing like watching a great film. You know, if it's good and it's entertaining and it's captivating, you'll still have the audience.
Let's talk a little bit about Facebook Places, because I think that's a very interesting place to start as a sort of a precursor to what could come next on Facebook. You know better than I, but maybe you can start by explaining a little bit about what Facebook Places is, and then how that might be developed into the content business. Well,
first of all, for those of you who don't know, Facebook Places is, we've launched in a number of European markets and the United States and Japan. And what it does is enables you to check in and tell your friends where you are. Now, oftentimes it's like my colleague and I were checking in outside because we thought it was quite fun to say we were in Cannes. So sometimes it's just a show-off type of thing. Other times it's because you want to meet or rally or create a place where friends get together. So it's quite an interesting functionality, but mainly what's really great about it is the idea that if you walked into a store, somebody could actually send you a coupon that's valid for that store. So chances are if you're interested in Starbucks and you check in from Starbucks, you might want to get that offer that they have for you that allows you to get the sandwich with the drink, that type of thing.
How you could take that locational format and apply it to what I'm watching, yes. I imagine is a way to go. What's the thinking in that respect, and how will that become a sort of a peer recommendation system for watching television, do you think?
Yeah, I think just like you can check into a location, you could theoretically, it doesn't exist yet, but you could check into a television show and you could tell everybody what's happening. You could say, I'm watching this, you've got to see it. So I think it can become a very powerful marketing tool at some stage. We're not quite there yet in terms of checking in, but it's all about data and it's all about making that data available. But you can see how we could possibly get there one day.
What tools do you have coming down the line that you think people will use more effectively to build their entertainment or their social network experience?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the most powerful things about Facebook is the idea that we allow companies or websites to bring Facebook to their site. So for instance, if you have a site for Merlin, the show, you can actually have people sign in with their Facebook identity. It's literally one line of code, but suddenly we bring that Facebook audience to your show and to your site, which is really unprecedented. The fact that your brand, if someone comes to your site, could actually bring their friends with them. And then anything they do on your site, if they watch a video, if they participate in a poll or a contest of some sort, that is broadcast back to their Facebook page. So then that gets shared with all their friends.
A year from now, how is Facebook going to be different, and what big innovations are we going to see that are going to change the game for you?
I think the social plugins, the idea that we're allowing people like yourselves to integrate Facebook into the experience, to make it more engaging and more relevant. I think we're starting to see now the news feed of people and your friends is starting to become more interesting because we've opened Facebook up to the world. So we've given everybody a chance to integrate it in. So it's much more reflective of my personal interests, and it gets more and more about me because I'm able to share this article that means something to me, something that I'm concerned about, a cause, a fundraiser, everything's starting to become shareable on the web, which is really exciting.
Cool. Well, we could talk about this for an awful long time, but we are out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Joanna Shields.
Thank you.